welcome back to my channel. For today's vlog, I'll be talking about brushes, more specifically watercolor paint brushes. And as you can see, I do have quite a little collection, and let me tell you what I've learned so far about these brushes and what I've learned about watercoloring and brushes alike. Okay, so if you're venturing into art and if watercolor is a form of art that you want to practice, please keep this in mind. All brushes are not created equal. Now, I have my brushes out because I've recently cleaned them and shaped them. Yes, you have to clean and shape your brushes. And so since I'm doing this today and I'm looking at this collection here, I'm thinking, why don't I just share what I've learned about brushes with you when it comes to watercoloring. Please keep in mind that I am not a professional watercolorist. I am barely a professional artist. I am on my way there. So just bear with me. But these are some of the tips and tricks that I've learned, and I like to pass them on to you because it's almost free of cost for me to learn. So why not share what I learned? Brushes. Now, in watercolor, there's basically two types of brushes you're looking at. You have your synthetic brushes, and then you have your natural hair brushes. There's also a third type, which is a blend of synthetic and natural hair. Now, this brush here, which is happily labeled Jeu Thing, is actually one of the first set of watercolor brushes I got. This is actually a synthetic brush. Now, this brush here is not specifically a watercolor brush. It's actually a multi-purpose brush. What that means is that this brush here can be used for watercolor, it can be used for acrylic, it can be used for gouache, and it can be used for oil, especially oil paintings that are water-based. I don't want to touch the bristles because I've just washed it and shaped it, but this one is a number 12. Now, please keep this in mind when it comes to brushes. Even though some brushes have a numbering system to indicate their size, the size is really dependent on the manufacturer's discretion, because this could be a number 12 brush, but it's completely different from any other number 12 brushes from another manufacturer. Let me see if I have a number 12 brush from another. No, I don't think I do. I think this is the only number 12 brush I have. I do have a number 12 Squirrel hair brush though. Here it is. Now this one is synthetic hair, and this one here is a number 12, but unlike this one, this is actually a natural squirrel hair brush. And I could touch this one because this one has already been reshaped and washed, and it's slightly bigger than the synthetic brush, so it's not exactly equal. And that's what I mean. The size of the brush, when it gives you a numbering system, is actually dependent on the discretion of the manufacturer of that brush. Okay, so don't think because you get a number 12 brush here that all number 12 brush will look alike or even have the same length of hair, because my squirrel hair brush here, which is a number 12, has a tad bit longer hair, I'm talking about length from here to here, than this one that has from here to here. And this one, the lumen is a tad bit bigger as well. So please keep that in mind. When it comes to watercolor, natural hair brushes is ideal. And the reason why natural hair brushes is ideal is because of the amount of water a natural hair brush can hold. This is another natural hair brush. It's a squirrel hair brush, and this is what we call a quill brush. And this can hold so much water. It is ridiculous how much water this single brush can hold. Now, there are mixed hair brushes, like I said, which is a mix of natural and synthetic hair, and also some manufacturers mimic synthetic hair to look like natural hair, and I believe I have one of those here, right here. No, this one is a natural hair. These Princetons are actually synthetic hair. I have one though. I think it's these ones here. Okay, I believe it's this one here. This one doesn't have a label on it, but when I got it, it said that it was natural red sable hair, but it performed so much differently. And I'm talking about standards, not necessarily how much water it holds, because obviously this size brush holds less water than this size brush. And this size brush says that it's natural from gray Squirrel, and this one says that it was red sable brush. And when performing with it, it doesn't behave like its characteristics didn't behave like a natural hair brush. When you paint with a natural brush, and I wish I had one that I wasn't shaping already. When you paint with a natural brush, what happens is that when you put the brush down on the paper, the surface that you're working with, it tends to mold itself or form itself to the direction of how you're painting. So if you're painting this way, the brush will frill this way and remain that way until you change your strokes or you wash out the brush. But with synthetic hairbrush, what I've noticed is that when you put your strokes down on your surface, it tends to snap back into its vertical position, and that's how I tell a natural hairbrush from a synthetic brush, because all natural hairbrushes that I have behave like that. This is one of them, this is one of them, this one behaves like that. So all the natural hairbrushes that I have behave similarly, but when it's synthetic, it has like a snap back. It actually formed back into its shape, and that's how I tell natural hairbrushes. And this didn't snap back completely, but it didn't form the strokes, the direction, it didn't went into the form the strokes that I was making, and it almost had a snap back. So I'm like, it might be it may be a synthetic brush that is mimic a natural hairbrush, and that's why I don't think this one is natural. But it doesn't have any label on it, it was just how it was advertised. Okay, acquiring all these brushes, I think this one came in a pack of 12 and it cost like $10, believe, maybe $5 USD. And yeah, I've been using these for a while. It's already drying. I don't want it to touch anything. These ones is from the Princeton Velvet Touch series. These I got in previous art subscription boxes. This one I bought on sale from AliExpress. So is this one here. So most of these I usually get on sale and on the cheap, because brushes can be very, very costly. But all in all, you don't need all these brushes. My recommendation is get a good large scale brush. This number 16 round brush here is a good large scale brush. If you can get a quill brush, great. Okay, get a good large scale brush, one that you can use to paint large surfaces. You also need a good medium surface brush, like a number 6 or a number 7. Anywhere between 6 to 8 is a good medium scale brush. Anywhere between 12 to 16 is a good large scale brushes. And these are just the round brushes, because brushes not only comes in different sizes, they come with different shapes as well. I have a few shapes here. This is a round brush, and you know it's a round brush because of how the funnel is shaped. The funnel is round, so this brush is round. I think there's also a flat brush here. Here's a flat brush, and you know it's a flat brush because the funnel is flat. And this is called a quill brush, and you know it's a quill brush, or sometimes they call it, I think, a quill and a map. I'm not sure. Please put in the comments below if quill and map brushes are the same, because I'm not sure. But this one is advertised as a quill brush, and you know it's a quill brush because of this almost handmade not binding, but how the funnel is. That's how they basically identify quill brushes. This one here is a Chinese calligraphy brush, and you know it's a Chinese calligraphy brush because of how it's shaped. It's long, very cylinder, and it's actually because you have to, it's not like it's like this. Actually, you're supposed to use it like this. It has its little hook, so this. So it can be hooked up or stored in a vertical position. Then you have a angular brush, oval brush, dagger brush. You have so much brushes out there. There's too numerous to mention. You have Filbert. I think I have a Filbert brush here. Yeah, this is a Filbert brush. What makes this different from a flat brush is its angle. So you can see its angle. It has a rounded angle versus a flat brush that does not. Well, this is shaped, so it'll look kind of pointed, but yeah, does not have a this has a more of an angular sides than this one. This one has a more rounded side, so this one is a Filbert. I have angular brushes. I think this one here is an angular brush, and the difference between this and a flat brush is that the flatness is on an angle. So there's so much brushes out there, and each brush does different functions. And ideally, watercolorists love round brushes because it forms a nice point. Let me get a round brush here. Here's one, a nice beautiful point. This is a number 4. This is not a good size. Yeah, a nice beautiful point. But flat brushes also are very, very good. Bigger flat brushes are very good when it comes to doing large washes. And there's a nice big one. But this is a multi-purpose brush, so it not only used for watercolor, it could be used for other stuff too. There's so much about brushes you need to learn. There's so much about brushes that I haven't learned yet. Let me just wrap it up and not keep this too long. The last thing I will add before I do the wrap up is the difference between a watercolor brush and an acrylic brush and an oil painted brush. Watercolor brushes are designed to hold water. So definitely this is a watercolor brush because this is a natural hair squirrel brush and it's made to design to hold water. Lots and lots of water. Compare this to this brush. This is actually a hog hair brush. And this is not designed to hold water, okay? These brushes are normally made for oil and acrylic paints. Okay, so watercolor brushes are designed to hold water. Like I said in the beginning, you do have brushes that are made to be multi-purpose, like this one. Let me see if I have one that I haven't shaped yet. Here's one. This is a number 6. This is a number 6 brush, and it's so much bigger, smaller than the previous number 6 brush number 4 brush that I pulled just now. That's amazing. But this one is, and the reason, see, what I was talking about the snapback, look at that, snapback. If this was wet and I did this, let me get some water. I always have water next to me and show you. Let me just wet it. See? I have it wet, my finger, it's now wet, and I'm going to rub my finger and show you. See? It doesn't, if it was a natural hair brush, it would have stayed like this. But it's not. So that's how I know it's synthetic. Not only that, but multi-functional brushes like this one tend to be thicker in bristle versus the watercolor brushes, which tends to be softer in bristle. So that's another way you can discern a watercolor brush from a acrylic brush or a oil brush, because watercolor brushes are very, very soft. But like I said, there's some brushes that are multifunctional. When it comes to working with brushes, very rarely you will use one brush for an entire project. You'll find yourself changing between brushes. Primarily if you're working on a large project and there's a lot of detailing in that project, you'll find yourself using a big brush for your big washes, a medium-sized brush, mostly like a number 6 or to a number 8 brush. You'll use that for the majority of your work, and then you'll use, so all in all, my recommendation when it comes to getting brushes is get first a good mop brush, Whether it is a quill brush or just a very large brush like this number 16 here, just get a very good brush, one that you can use to, you know, glazed over a large surface. Get a good medium-sized brush, either a number 6 or a number 8. This is a number 6 here too, which is so, see, look at the difference. That's why I said it actually depends, because this is a synthetic brush too, and this is a synthetic brush, and look, they're both number 6s, and this is so much smaller than this one. Get a good number 6 brush or a number 8. In this case, since this number 6 is so small, you might want to get a number 8 in this size instead, and I believe this is a number 8. In this white one, this is a number 8, which is a very good medium-sized brush. And you like to get a good small brush, either a number 1, a number 0, or a number 2, all depending on how the manufacturer has their sizes. But the brush, the size brush you get, depend on the size project you're going to work with or what you're going to use that brush for. As usual, guys, before you do any kind of purchasing, do your research, read what other persons who have purchased that product before you experience, read their reviews, watch all the YouTube you need to watch, and learn that if those brushes work for you. And with that said, thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.